to another edition of Northern Heat. My name is Bob Lennon, President of ThermalWood Canada, and host for the show. Our special guest today, Stephen Legacy. Stephen, how are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
Not bad at all. So, Stephen, we're here today at Four Rivers Brewery in downtown Bathurst, and you've been around for how many years now?
We opened our doors in January of 2018, so we're coming up on 7 years here.
This is pretty amazing because it seems like yesterday when I interviewed your father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was a long time ago. We've gone through quite a bit of changes since then.
Well, speaking of changes, there's one of the things when we had first done this interview with your dad, and the focus was on this was a family-run business. You and your brother, your father, your uncle, and it's still the same crew, so that hasn't changed, right?
Nope, that's all still the same.
Yeah, but things that have changed a lot through here is that you're focused on local and what you're doing. Not only are you a local run business by local people, but you're also bringing in different aspects of the local crowd, if you want to. And so let's talk a little bit about that, because you mentioned this morning as part of your waste that goes.
Yeah, so I'd say that the focus hasn't changed. We've always tried to support local, but we have been able to kind of expand our avenues and explore different ways. So one we've been doing since the very beginning is we've rotated through a couple different farmers. What will happen is when we're brewing a batch, we use anywhere from 700 to 1,100 pounds of malt. And once we're done with that, we take out all the spent grain. The farmers will come by, pick it up, and they'll use it as feed for their chickens, cows, pigs, whatnot. So it's a great partnership because we don't actually have to pay dumping fees, and they get free food out of it. And it was funny, one of the farmers was telling us one time that actually their cows were getting fussy. They refused to eat their regular food unless it was mixed in because it's very sweet. Oh yeah. And anytime they pull in with the, we got some garbage bins that we use for that. Anytime they'll drive in, they start mooing because they can smell it, and they're like, "Yes, we get another shipment here." So that's pretty great.
Yeah.
But one of the new things that we've been able to do is we just launched a blueberry beer this summer in the liquor stores. So unlike some of the other beers on the market that could use the purees or the extracts, we use the actual fruit. So for a 1,000-liter batch, we use 200 pounds of blueberries. So we've been, yeah. It's a full day of boiling them down. We got the double boiler system. We've had some mishaps in the past with that. We've burnt a couple, but what comes from that is it's more subtle, but fresh, and it's just kind of a crisp, clean, not overpowering flavor either, but it's really the color of the beer that we're super excited about. But we've been able to rotate through different producers in the province who we get the supply of blueberries from. So we've used Edmundston, we've used Minto, and I believe the St. John area. So it's a way for us to support the entire market, and then they turn around and they're talking to their buddies and say, "Hey, those are our blueberries in that beer." So they're supporting us, and it just kind of, it's great all around.
Oh, that's true. And do you get any different tastes in the blueberries come from different parts of the province, or are they everything blueberries are blueberries, but still?
It's hard to say because like even beer just on its own is never going to be fully consistent. The different yields of hops give different percentages of the alpha beta acids. Basically it's a game of keeping everything as close as you possibly can. So whether it's the blueberries giving just a little kick difference or if something else, it's kind of hard to tell, but for the most part it's been pretty spot on consistent. So
that's interesting. But getting out of the brewing part, there's also some other elements of locality if we bring it in here, because let's talk a little bit about the artist design.
So when we first started, we wanted to start with two beer. We wanted to do an amber and a pale ale, something a little lighter to get the market a little more comfortable with the craft industry, and then kind of expand out. So during that process, we were practicing with a homebrew kit. We created a black IPA and a milk stout, and those became just, we had to start with four because they were some of our favorite beers. So for those first 4, we actually commissioned the local artist Carole Doucette, and she had done a painting for each one that are hanging in our tap room over here, and we have those on our labels for those beer. So we've done a couple redesigns, but we've always incorporated those through, and so absolutely come on by. Those are some of my favorite artworks.
Oh, she does some beautiful work.
Amazing work. And then actually this summer we had a brewer from Quebec that comes by. He has a cottage in Petit Rocher, and he's a big artist as well. So he had done a painting of each of the 4 rivers.
Oh,
so we have
okay.
those hanging in the brewery too now. So we were able to commission them off of him as well. So any way we can support the local artists and also the musicians.
Well, that's another point that I wanted to bring up too, because you do have musicians playing in here on a regular basis.
So we actually have Jeff Long tomorrow. So we try and do a lot of local, but we're also part of this Ontario circuit. So it's a way for us to explore other music that might be out there as well. We get these bands that anytime they're doing a Atlantic tour, they'll stop by. So it's a nice different exposure for that. But I can't not mention our partnership with Raglan Road either. So we have a beer named after them.
Oh, yeah.
The Raglan Red.
There.
Fantastic beer. Got to try it on Nitro. But every year they would do a show on St. Patrick's Day or around that day where all the proceeds goes towards a charity. So the first year was the Veterans Unit to help raise funds for a chairlift because Jason's wife and my mother worked there. And then we did 1 year for SBCA. And then the past few years, we've kind of narrowed down to Guitars for Vets.
Okay.
So as a sponsorship, musical therapy. So it's just extra ways to kind of work together and give back more to the community.
Well, let's go back for a second on something you said, because before the interview, you talked about this, and I think that that's important, is that this relationship you have with this management team from Ontario that bring bands through is that they just didn't, probably the first time they just showed up by accident, but now they're coming back because of
the support they get from this community and how great they have of a time here. The people are so friendly. The crowds, when we get some of the more mellow music, they're just pin drop. You can listen to it. Everyone's just committed. Like they're so focused and attentive. Or if you get more the party style, well, everyone's into it. The dance floor, like it's always full. So the crowd's always super supportive, and how could they not want to come back to that?
Well, and that's a statement or a question that I ask on a regular basis to people who are on the show, is that what's so special about our area? And here you're saying that we've got people that are coming from outside as musicians that want to come back because of those things, which is great to hear.
Yeah, we have the regular bands that they'll do their tours. So somebody like Eye the Mountain or Cassie Noble, anytime they come this way, they make it a point. We need to stop in Bathurst because we had such an amazing time there. We know the people there. We're really good friends with them now. Aaron, our sales manager, he actually has some spare rooms. He'll put them up, and we party with them as well. So like it's just fun for them, fun for us. Yeah. So it's great all around.
Well, again, it goes and demonstrates the type of people that we have here in Bathurst and in the Chaleur region, and how we welcome everybody into our homes and show them our hospitality. We're not called the Chaleur region for nothing.
No, of course not.
So on that point, one of the things that this show's all about heat. Putting on the heat and turning it up, and I think that your organization, yourself, and Four Rivers are a great example of turning up the heat in our area and bringing in the local side, drawing more people in, and selling your products through the profits. And because of that, one of the things that we're doing is giving you a hat that talks about the work that you're doing. So again, thank you very much for the work that you're doing here and what you're doing for the community. There we go.
A big head there.
It fits.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to finally be on here. I was a little jealous when my dad got to do it 7 years ago, and maybe in 7 more, my uncle can be on.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Now you can tell your dad you got a hat and he didn't.
Exactly. Oh yeah, he's gonna be jealous for sure.
Again, thank you very much for doing the show, and thank you very much for doing what you're doing here.
Appreciate it.
Very much appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And there we have it. Another edition of Northern Heat for this week, the place you come to listen to the stories that haven't been discovered yet.